Welcome into Tap Tap Cast, where we talk about all things Pokemon Go PvP, and what a week for it as well. Because you look well and refreshed, Martine, but you had a pretty busy weekend.
Yeah, I had to catch up on some sleep after casting the Europe International Championship. It was quite an honor, and it was quite a tournament. Right, it was very exciting. We saw MEweedle win over Doombug from North America. I think everyone, especially Europeans, really feared him. Maybe expected him even to win, and he got so
Mm-hmm.
far. I told him at some point, "Please don't go further than top four." Which he laughed. He said, "Nah, I'm gonna do better." He did.
I loved how slightly antagonizing he was being too, just
Yeah.
like being a little bit funny, like coming out pretending he was an eagle and like saying like "thank you to all my North America friends" and everything. So it's like it was definitely a show. And since Pokemon Go, this is only like our third ever EUIC.
hmm
It was like also it's the first time like a North American has really made it this far. This season is a lot of seasons of firsts, and yeah, I have to admit, even though I think that Dunebug is probably the best player in the world right now, I was happy that the title stayed with EUIC.
Really, but aren't you American?
I am
hmm
American, yeah. But my heart and loyalty lies with the most of the battles that I've been casting. I know the EU battlers a lot better at this point.
So, what
Yeah.
would you have said if he won it? Huh?
I would have congratulated him, and obviously, I think that if he beat MEweedle, he would have deserved to win it too, because he, like just those matches, that every match that Dunebug played was like scary good, and I think like the hearts of many Europeans were dropping the further and further he got in the tournament. There was a lot of Americans who made it
hmm
to day two, even. There's some heavy
Yeah,
competition coming
Anya
over.
Frank, Arrow.
Yeah.
Those are some big
Caleb.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Axon, world champion,
Yeah.
lost the first game that he played, then all the way to
Yeah.
day two. Pretty. Yeah, he might be world champion for a reason.
Against Calfia, a Belgian player.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Who did you think who would win the UIC if you had to pick beforehand?
Oh.
You can't say me because I was casting.
Yeah. I thought that Scafo had a pretty good chance of winning it, just because like he did really well the year before
hmm
that. He played really well in Utrecht as well. So like he was on a good trajectory. I think he still made it pretty far. Right? He was in the top 12,
Yeah. I think top
maybe, or
12.
something,
Yeah.
like because Paula ended up knocking him
hmm
out pretty late on into the tournament. So like I didn't have anyone per se in mind, but it wouldn't have surprised me if Scaffle won it.
Yeah. No, I had him on my prediction as well. So
Oh yeah,
great
you
minds
did. I
think
guess.
alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, great podcast hosts think alike.
Yeah. Question for you, Amanda. Since you know what? Let's just start with the controversy right away, real quick.
Okay.
Um,
Oh boy.
you haven't
Okay.
played like any other Pokemon games, right? Just Pokemon Unite and Go
No.
at this point, right?
Yeah. Now I'm playing Pokemon Unite a little bit more.
We're,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna get Necrozma, I believe, with Go Fest soon. What do you know about this Pokemon?
Uh, it
Take your
that's
time.
a really good question. As I start googling some stuff,
I'm actually checking if I
is
said
it
it
a
right.
is it a ghost?
It's a legendary Pokemon. I believe it's Psychic type.
It's a psychic legendary
There you
Pokemon.
go.
Everyone knows that, Martine. Duh.
Yeah. I don't know too much as
No,
well of it,
I know nothing.
but it can change forms and it gets to pretty high CP as well. I believe that one of its forms gets to about 5,000 CP, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
But then again, the
Yeah.
typing Psychic Ghost, not so great.
So it is a ghost.
One of its
All
forms,
right.
yes, you
Yeah.
were 33% right, and the other one is Psychic Steel, so maybe that is viable.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Are you going to go
Yeah.
first?
I'm thinking about it, but so the one that is in the US is, because I'm in the US right
hmm
now, for people who don't
hmm
know. I'm visiting family and friends. Um that is the same weekend as I have Taylor Swift tickets.
Oof.
So I'm not going to be able to do the US Go Fest. And then I'm just getting back from the US like right after that. So I don't know if I will be back in time to go to Madrid
hmm
so I might be quote stuck playing the just the global Go Fest. Hopefully I'll find a crew that I can play with in the US if I can't make it over. But I really want to, because I've never been to Madrid,
hmm
even though like I absolutely love Spain and all the cool, fun people are going, and I have complete FOMO and I hate missing out.
You will
So
also be in New Orleans, right? That's the weekend before, I believe.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so maybe you can like fly with me as well, right?
Oh,
Land
okay,
Thursday
okay, yeah,
morning, fly out Thursday evening.
yeah. I don't know how you're gonna be able to
I
do
don't know
that,
either.
man.
I
I
haven't
just
thought
like,
about that, Amanda. I haven't thought about it. Surely I can sleep on the plane or something, right?
oh man, sure, yeah. And then when you're gonna get there, I've seen like the nut came to visit me,
Hmm.
and we walked around Antwerp a little bit, and he was just like, "Man, I'm so glad we're taking it easy today because I had a hard workout the day before." I was like, "Dude, we walked more today." What do you mean, take it easy? I can't imagine like going and walking GoFest with like 2 hours sleep on a plane. So, good luck to you, my friend.
Have you talked about him? Which city he prefers, Antwerp or Brussels? Because I believe
Oh, Antwerp by far.
he
Oh
likes
yeah.
Antwerp way more.
Oh,
I
way
wondered
more, way
beforehand.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which of
yeah.
your friends was really into Brussels? Was that Spleen or was it Abi?
Yeah, Spleen and Abby both live in
Yeah,
Brussels, but yeah, I live in Antwerp, the best city I think
the better one. The
um
better one. Yeah.
in, in Belgium. Ghent is also nice. Ghent's also a very pretty city
Mm.
if we're talking about it. Rotterdam is the coolest city in the Netherlands, in my
Well,
opinion.
I appreciate that. It's also because you had a good tour guide there, right?
Yeah, I did also did a lot of walking that day, more than I'm used to.
You're welcome. There was another little bit of news announced, Amanda. We have the community day being published for, I believe, near the end of April. Victory Bell.
Oh
Are you
yeah.
excited for that?
Oh my goodness. I will say that a good friend of mine, he doesn't really play much Go anymore, Kev Killer,
Hmm.
he was the person who actually originated grass holes. So we played that at the
Oh, everyone
beginning,
loves him then.
because yeah, and he talked to Wallower about it, I think too. And so like Wallower helped adapt it to make it with the defense
Hmm.
deoxys. But I mean, he knew all the breakpoints, and that was before Razorleaf got nerfed, So
Hmm.
it's like, oh, it can win the 2 shields against Registeel if you acid spray it, which woof.
Yeah, and now it gets
So
Magical Leaf, which is like the
yeah, and
complete
now it gets
opposite, right?
Magical Leaf.
Well, it has some
Yeah,
fast attack pressure, but it's, not as oppressive. Do you think it's going to
yeah.
make any
So
difference?
I mean, maybe it's a really good thing in that sense. If people are not going to be using Razor Leaf,
Hmm. Yeah, well, they can still use
then
another Razor Leaf.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I'd
Different
say
ADD.
maybe that they're just doing a favor in that sense, but I don't know. I will say I've definitely played Victory Bell. Do I think it's a high skill
Yes,
Pokemon?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. No, no, disagree.
It's very frustrating to lose to teams with like Bastiodon and Victory Bell on it, and it doesn't matter the third. Lately in Go Battle League seasons, now I've also seen it with Wigglytuff,
Hmm.
and then it's just like, yeah, what we call. I mean, it's what our cast is kind of named after. It's what our podcast is. It's a tap tap team.
It's true. It's not because we're playing it, right? I
No,
actually did
no,
play
I'm
it.
not. I'm not
I
playing
actually
it.
did.
Oh, did you play
Yeah,
it?
my first.
I mean, I.
Yeah, when I was streaming with CCO was here last week. He recommended
Mm-hmm,
Victory Bell and Wigglytuff, and I was like, well, let's just do Empoleon instead of Bastiodon. Bastiodon was a little bit too much, right? So yeah,
mm-hmm.
I was hoping it would get like a usable charge stack as well to maybe core break Wishcash scar me a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't. So I think it's kind of just stuck in the same position. I think Venusaur is
Yeah.
probably still better. No,
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you ever see it viable for the show 6 format?
I don't
At least
know.
not at this
Maybe I
stage.
can like beat up my locals a little bit with it and make a video about it
Yeah,
again.
yeah, but you're doing that anyway. I mean, I think last season Onion Frank used Victory Bell quite a bit in the regional competitions. I remember seeing that a couple
He had it
times.
against me in
But
Hartford. Yep.
yeah, so I mean, like, it's definitely made its way into
Hmm.
competitions. Although I think Cindy also used it
Yeah,
in at
she did.
Worlds
Yeah.
the very first year. So okay, it definitely has some place in the meta, but it's an off meta pick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we can see someone do well with it. Yeah. However, today we are going to have a very recent champion on our cast. We have MEweedle.
MEweedle! Welcome into the podcast, our newest EUIC champion, MEweedle. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you
welcome.
for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here, my friend. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who, strangely enough, might not know you?
Yeah, so I'm MEweedle. I won the 2022 Senior Division World Championships the 2023 Stuttgart Regional Championships, and just recently I won the 2024 European Championships.
Yeah, quite a few gold medals to your name there.
Have you ever won a different color of medal or prize?
No,
Only gold. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah,
it's it's been gold or nothing.
yeah. It must be tough not winning like silver or anything.
But yeah, okay, let's walk it through because you have a title to your name that no one else, at least for now, will have and go ever again. Hopefully, we'll get a senior division back at some point, but you are the senior division world champion. That was the very first season for Go. And if you look at the names that were in there, there's a lot of really big names in that list. How did you feel playing in the competition in Worlds that year?
To be completely honest, nobody knew who I was, and at the same time, I didn't know who anybody else was. So all of these big names, I had never heard of them before because I had just never really, seen any kind of Sylph content really ever. All I knew is that like Woodage once hit number one on the leaderboards, and that was about it, right? So I was quite confident with my pick of Araquanid, but I obviously didn't know that I was actually going to win it all in the end. So
Yeah, what made you choose the Araquanid?
I think it was mainly just it's good against Walrein, it was good against Trevenant. It was just generally there wasn't much in the meta that like hard beat it other than Registeel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was generally just quite neutral and bulky and strong. I don't remember the exact meta from back then.
Yeah.
So,
but you wanted to RPS your opponents, basically. That's what you're saying.
well, it wasn't RPS if it was as good against all of their mons, right?
Fair. Yeah.
I remember after you won the event too, because this was the first time that I had met you as well, because I was helping out shooting some stuff for a documentary that is, I think, in production to be made about the Pokemon Go Championship Series. And I remember I'd sent you a message and I was going to meet up with you, and you were there with your parents, and your dad was basically like, yeah, I'm not trying to be rude, but who are you?
Yeah, that could be. I mean, I don't remember that, but I can imagine that happening. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, that's a good parent, though, too. Like, okay, I'm not sending off my son to meet with this random stranger to, quote, get interviewed about his podcast. But look at where we are now on a podcast a couple years later.
Was that another tournament you did not participate in, Amanda?
Yeah. I was obviously I would have ended up. I mean, I think Stone Collection and EJB can really thank me for not participating in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, surely.
But yeah, I was there taking a lot of footage and everything. I mean, and to be fair, that was such a cool experience overall. I think for everyone for Go, right? I mean, it was just like seeing Go up on the big stage like that, and yeah, you're absolutely right as well. I didn't really know who you were. I knew that you were on maybe the B squad of Tea and Pizza, correct, at that point?
Yeah, I was originally kind of just asked to join after, reaching number one on the leaderboards and stuff. And yeah, because they were making the second team, I was just going to be part of the academy team. But then after I won Worlds, they were like, nah, we can't have him just on the academy team, right?
Wait, hold up. So you hit rank 1 on the GBL leaderboard.
Yeah.
And that was impressive enough to be on the B team?
It wasn't like impressive enough, because if this random name hits number one on the leaderboard, there's also a good chance that it was just a bit of luck, right? Anybody can hit the leaderboards if you just RPS all your opponents.
Mm-hmm. With so,
is that how it goes with Show 6 tournaments as well?
Let's just say it's all pure skill. There was no RPS in these grand finals at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no vigor only. I want to ask a little bit more of a sensitive question, because I know that there may have been a bit of a difficult comparison, I think, right? Where everyone was always like, we have the world champion dancing Rob, and then perhaps a little bit overlooking you as the senior world champion. How did you feel about that?
Oh, I actually thought it was just fine. I really did not have that much against it, because I kind of just understood that, like in the VGC, you hardly hear anything of the senior players there, right? For example, everybody might have heard of like Wolfie. He's very well known
Yeah, it's pretty good.
for even people who don't play VGC, right? But if I asked you to name any kind of senior division VGC player, you'd have no clue probably. I assume. I don't know how into VGC you are, but yeah, it's kind of just a similar thing, and especially since there were so few people even playing in the senior division for Go,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not surprising completely. So
fair. But I believe like every time after that, when there was like a grassroots competition where you played against Deathrow, I think you never lost it, have you?
I've never lost to him before. No,
How come? How come? If he's the Master Division World Champion, you're the Senior World Champion. How come? Like technically, he should be on the higher level, right?
yeah, but that's why they removed age categories. It's just because we're not worse.
Mhm.
It's just because it was called senior division, it was less recognized, right? So
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, do you feel that this is again, I don't know your understanding of the card game or the video game either,
Yeah.
but do you think this is true across all of the different leagues, that there should, like, the senior division isn't a lower skill cap, or do you think that because there are so many more players, chances are, yeah, maybe there is a little bit of a gap between that?
I have no clue of the other games exactly. I just sometimes watch some videos of VGC just because I still find it a bit interesting, but I'm not really that into it. I couldn't really tell you, what people are thinking, on the stage when they're playing. So yeah, I don't know if there's that much of a difference between the seniors and the masters. I'd assume that the best seniors could compete against the best masters, but I don't know how much exactly, kind of like the average senior division player would compare to the average master division player.
Mm-hmm.
Another question for you. I believe you already had an international championship title to you, right? From the seniors as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sound like you sound like yeah, kinda.
It's a title for being the only one there, but we'll ignore that part. Yeah, I have a title for that.
But that was like easy money, wasn't that? Like you get the full price, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, it was, I mean, not that much. It was a lot for me at the time. It was like 1.5K, but, compared to the 5 from this EUIC, it's
Yeah.
not that much.
Mm-hmm.
But to just be the only one there and then get 1.5 thousand US dollars is
Pretty easy.
not something I'm complaining about, right?
I would have brought my kids there.
But that's what everyone says afterwards,
Yeah.
You don't at the time that would have happened, right?
Mhm.
Like I didn't know at the time that was going to happen, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after this started going on, because we have a Belgian player who is also, I think he's around your age as well, named Boom. And we were trying to get him to go to every single event. We're like, Boom, just show up for an event. Like, you will be qualified. You can compete at Worlds. You are just as good as these competitors. Like you were saying, the skill gap is not different. In fact, if you look at most of the names on that list, I think that they could top they have been topping the regular division as well. And you kind of proved that right away after winning Worlds for the senior division. You came in to Stuttgart, Germany. And also, sorry, Martijn, picking up that first place finish there to become a regional champion as well. Your second gold medal.
yeah.
Third if you count the other, I see.
Well, kind of, yeah, I guess.
Can you walk us a little bit through your Stuttgart run? As painful as it will be for me.
Yeah, so basically there was this winners finals against this
No.
I won't start there. It was, I think I was planning before they, because I think it was just after a move update, right? I think until then, I was planning on running a Raquinid again, because I thought it was still semi-solid, but, I think was Noctowl.
Yeah,
Noctowl's already started appearing. I don't think Lantern was good yet. Did it?
Yeah,
already
it was
Surf?
because Freaka used it against me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, No, but in Stuttgart or before,
In Stuttgart.
like, did it have surf before
No,
the
no,
move
No,
change?
no.
before not.
So yeah, before the move change,
Mhm.
like Araquanid was still fine,
Mhm.
except for the fact that people started bringing Noctowl, even when the wing attack wasn't buffed yet.
Yeah.
But then when the wing attack got buffed for the move update, it was like, oh god, Noctowl's going to be everywhere, which it obviously was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think then people were trying to obviously find good stuff against it. So you always use PV poke for that, and that's how I came to the Mantine, right? I don't remember all of my battles from Stuttgart.
I think a double
I remember,
steel, double fly or something.
yeah. I had double steel, double flyer, so like Noctowl, Mantine, and double steel was, I think at that point, it was still really, really good with Lickitung and Noctowl. Oh, wait, Lickitung wasn't really around anymore afterwards, wasn't it? But
I
I
think
think,
it was for the first few because people weren't really knowledgeable
yeah.
of the impact of Noctowl, but yeah, afterwards, Lickitung was.
Yeah, but I think the double steel worked really well because other than fighters, like G-Fisk covers for Trev kind of a bit. It's not good, but
Mhm.
it's neutral enough. So there were some teams, even with Medicham lead, that you could kind of run ABA Steel into with like a Registeel G-Fisk.
Mhm.
So the double steel core was still pretty strong for me. And I think I just generally had some other Pokemon that were good against fighters. I think I had like Trev, Medi, and Double Flyer, right? So I had 4 answers to fighters and 2 steals. So yeah, I think that was pretty good at the time. I mean, if it was that bad, I probably wouldn't have won. But
I don't know. I was looking at the player list, and there wasn't really any competition in that one. So I mean,
Com-
I think that you'd.
comes from the woman never competing so far.
well, I'm laughing now, but the next 2 tournaments that I played Martine afterwards weren't as nice, weren't they? I think I remember playing Jonkus there as well in Stuttgart, wasn't it? On
Oh, yeah,
stream?
He was there. I'm not sure. Yeah, it may have been on stream. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I think it was, and I think it was like my Registeel lock-oned down his Trevenant
Mhm.
perfectly, and he would have needed the DRE to get off the move, but he didn't get it. So yeah, I remember really liking Registeel back then, but I think now it's just I don't know why, because it's not even that much different, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, and I
people
mean,
still don't
and
like it as
Valerian
much.
Stunfisk arguably got worse. So I mean, you would
I
think
mean,
that with
G-Fist got worse just because
yeah,
EQ got nerfed and
right.
Annihilate is everywhere as well right now. So
Uh,
But I mean, to be fair,
Whiskash.
Arceus Aurelius won with the Registeel on his team.
True, but how much did he use it?
I don't remember. There's another
I don't
guy who
remember
won with a
either.
red
Yeah.
steel.
Oh, I don't remember who you're talking about.
I think red steel is still good in the things it's supposed to do, but the main thing that Annihilate just wins the zero shields, whereas Medicham did not use to its psychic. I think that's one of the big game changers because red shield is
Yeah,
just not as good as a safe switch as it used to be.
I think it's just the problem that it's so easy to play around because
And Wishcat, of course.
it's oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh
Whiskash.
yeah.
But I think it's just easy to play around with how slow it is. You can never like beat something and come out with a move, or whenever you throw a move, the opponent can just safe swap for free without being threatened by another move coming in soon.
Hmm.
Yep.
Like I don't know, with Whiskash, if you farm up to close before 2 Scalds, it's hard to safe swap into it because then you're just going to get debuffed, maybe 50%
Yeah.
chance, stupid stuff. But yeah, I think that was one of the other issues, and just a bit like Azu, it loses a lot of 2 shields, even against things that kind of don't do that much damage with a singular move, just because it just gets outpaced, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest issues with it right now.
Yeah. But would you say red steel was your best Pokemon at the time at Stuttgart?
I mean, I would have to say it's probably like Mantine, but
Really?
yeah, I like Mantine. I didn't think I used it that much in the like the day 2 bracket, right?
Yeah, he didn't use against me, I think. No.
But it was I think you had like Dunsparce and
I think I had Dunsparce
I
and
think it was just
yeah.
I think I was just so scared of the Dunsparce being pretty neutral, or having like moves against all of my Pokemon except Medi.
Yeah,
to
you were kind of
bring
disrespecting
the man team.
Dunsparce, but Dunsparce wasn't like good enough.
Yeah, but it was just bad. I had Reggie and Medi, and even though it has drill runs, they didn't two-shot. Because rollout was still like a bad move back then, wasn't it? It didn't have the damage buff yet, I don't think.
Not in Stuttgart, I don't think.
I don't
did
think
it?
so. I'm not sure if it makes a lot of difference.
I think it just got rollout then.
Yeah.
And that's when
Yeah.
people were using it.
Didn't rollout like get buffed, and then it does one more damage to Reggie? I thought it flipped
You
that
still
kind
lose
of.
though. You still lose.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Dunsparce sucks. I mean, there's a reason.
There's a reason we're not using it anymore.
He's using it. Yeah.
Your captain might disagree with you. I think that he was using it quite a bit
If he
during
used
that time
it
as well.
now, I think everybody would just laugh at him.
Now, speaking of metas like that, that was the beginning of a meta. You won a gold medal with that. This was also the first European chance to play in the quote new meta that just came out, the World of Wonders meta for Pokemon Go. Do you have a preference over which one you like more when you were building your team of 6?
This one, 100%. It's so easy, There's nothing, that's necessary on teams. Nothing. I mean, you could argue Lickitung, Gligar, or Whiscash, but I didn't have any of those on my team.
True.
Maybe I think the closest thing to being a must-have might be Cresselia at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I think not a must-have, but just super good, and I don't know why you wouldn't bring it, is Altaria. Because exactly we were talking before how Registeel is not really around anymore. There aren't that many ice types.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just basically good against everything else.
Yeah, I hate it though.
Oh yeah. Also Azu is kind of dead as well right now.
I think we had a small resurgence. No, did we not have it in the top 12 in day 1 of the EUIC? I think there was Azumarill in the very final spot.
Yeah, maybe, but as we saw in the top 32, was there any? I know there was Stone running Azu.
Mm-hmm. He may have been the only one.
But was it, if he was the only one, for it to be in the top 12 overall and then only like once in the top 32, maybe it was more. But if there was more, then they didn't do very well, did they?
Yeah, it just sucks against Leaky, Cress, and Lantern.
Yeah.
So that's
and those 3 Pokemon are very, very common, right? So
true.
Also, if you get like debuffed by a Scald against Whiscash, it's not great.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But
then if you don't get debuffed, it's 50% chance.
It's pretty silly, actually. Yeah. Controversial question time. Who do you think is
just out of nowhere?
Who do you think is the best of your team, Team Pizza? You've like 200 members right now. Who's the best?
Yeah, so our Legends Hype Elite Team Pizza team is it's pretty big. We have. Yeah, we merged with Hidden Powers. Well, recently it's been a while now, but we're 4 teams, and so we're about 40 people, 40 to 50. It's a bit hard to say who's the best, right? I mean, it's hard to say that ever. Even just generally, who would you consider the best player in the world right now, other than me, obviously?
If you had to send one person to NEIC of TMP, who would it be? Only one.
And you can say yourself.
No, you can. If he's confident, why not?
No, that's what I said. He can say himself.
Okay, he can.
I mean, this is a bit of a silly question for me because I would send David just because he doesn't go or doesn't have the opportunity to go to that many regionals. Mm-hmm. Does that mean he's the best? No. Does it mean he's the worst? Definitely not. But yeah, I think it's a bit hard to say. I haven't seen Memi play Show 6 that much in Open Great League, but I know he's amazing in GBL, for example. I know Stan is super consistent. Fareed can either do super well or just average. Tomahawk. Yeah.
I may have heard of him.
Yeah. You may. But yeah, I think I think it would have to be David right now. Yeah, for me.
Yeah, not Colin.
Yeah, you're leaving out your
Yeah.
two-time regional champ.
Well, I think Colin's done well, like already.
Mhm.
He's done well.
And now,
That's
now,
See,
it.
but
now you
you're
come.
playing it very diplomatic. We're asking you for representation. If you're wanting someone to take home the gold for you for Team
Yeah,
Pizza,
and it's going to
who's
be a
that gonna
child. Mene is going to be destroyed by David,
Ooh.
and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, we just lost to a 16-year-old who
Okay.
Martin calls a copium kid."
He does. He sends freaking cooks after losing a game, man. As much as I like him, don't get me wrong, I do like him. But like one time he bragged so much against me about winning, I could never lose again to that. No, ever.
Oh god.
It was great seeing him play at EUIC though, and man,
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
the moment he was up against Doombak in a game 3, you could just hear the crowd ready to erupt if he would have won the last one, and then deflated so much. Oh, that was such a
Yeah.
But
I mean,
what I find crazy, sorry, what I would like to say is just, how did nobody know who David was, like
exactly.
at all?
Uh,
I was just curious because
define no
he
one.
has well, hardly anyone, or like the casters. I don't think you were casting his battles,
Uh-huh.
some of them, but I think like day one against Colin, they were like, "Wow, this new David guy, he
Okay,
seems
no,
pretty good, right?" You know,
it
and
was
it's
it
like,
was not me. It was not
kid's
me.
been around forever. He reached number
Yeah, yeah.
one on the leaderboards before. He's got the regional champion T-shirt as well. So it's not like
I don't know. I mean,
he's
it may be a little bit tough, especially I think because I think it was like the very last battle of the day or something. So
yeah, it
I
was one
know
of the
Butters
last
is like
ones.
putting up Dragovis the whole time, looks up trainers, and well, if you're like casting a couple battles in a row, you may be even toasted after 10 hours. It's
Yeah,
possible you may
that's
have
true.
missed
True.
it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
he definitely puts in the effort, but maybe just miss it out, especially if he's not super, familiar with GPL players or
No, I can understand that.
yeah. No, I mean,
But
but
no,
I
but I
just want to say it
completely
wasn't
agree.
me. I know him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not a new player by any means.
Yeah.
yeah, but I just find it a bit kind of. I mean, I guess it's just from my perspective, right? Because I know who David is, and then for people to be saying, "Wow, this new battler, he's someone you should look out for," it was just a bit weird. But
Right.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I especially think that way about teammates and people. I mean, we have to also remember not everyone, including Martine, has played like solo Sylph, really. So if people were around from these sorts of days, I mean, I think a lot of people even aren't really sure who CCO is. Like someone said, "Oh, CCO" in the chat, and some people were like, "Who? Like, why would this even be important?" And it's like
yeah,
that's true. He doesn't really even stream much anymore. I mean, the first seasons of Sylph is no longer really relevant, I guess. But yeah, speaking of seasons of stuff, what do you think of Devon? Are you competing in solo competitive PvP stuff now, or is it
I
really only group
have
at this point?
absolutely no clue what like Devon really even is. I
Fair.
mean, I'm competing in Battle Frontier,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it. I never really competed in solo Sylph. I think I played like, maybe like 4 tournaments or something, but I just didn't really have the time, and I didn't really think it was worth it with play Pokemon just being like a better show 6 thing to concentrate on. Um, yeah, I just know that some of the Devon metas are now in Battle Frontier, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I guess in that sense I'm playing Devon,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really know anybody who is, or like at least nobody's kind of said, "Hey, I'm playing in Devon," or anything like that. I know it's a bit of a random thing to suddenly say, but like you always get some people in your faction, for example, asking for help in a certain meta
Mm-hmm.
if they
Mm-hmm.
kind of got a tournament coming up, but just no sight of Devon or anything, and I never really see any kind of people bragging, kind of showing on
Yeah.
Twitter, "Hey, look, I just won this big Devon Cup." Whereas with Sylph, you'd get that quite often,
Yeah.
because it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Just I haven't heard anything about Devon really, so
Speaking of bragging on Twitter, at what
uh-oh.
point on the leaderboard do you hit that it's acceptable to be posting, ooh, look at me, I'm on the leaderboard?
This is a tough question for me to answer, because for me, it's like I would only do it when I'm top 10, but that's because I've reached number one before. But I can completely see it from a perspective of you've never been on the leaderboard before, to say, look, I just hit leaderboard for the first time, right? So, yeah, I think if you've hit it before, you shouldn't brag about, or brag, you can, but I wouldn't consider it, a good achievement if you hit it for a second time. But I think like there's always these nice milestones, right? Like hitting it for the first time, hitting top 100, then top 50, then top 10, top 5, and like number 1 or something. So those are always good things. And yeah, I think instead of leaderboard, maybe ELO, just showing a high ELO is always nice. Like whenever it is in the season, legend posts is always a good way to kind of show off a bit, and it's kind of a bit less bragging. Obviously, it's still a bit of it,
Yeah.
It's always a bit when you're kind of showing your achievements, but
Yeah. The format you called luck, right?
yeah, totally, only luck. That's why I'm hitting number 1 sometimes.
Oh, you only hit number 1. We see with all the gold medals.
Yeah, only gold.
Well, you see, in GBL, I'm the number 2 specialist, aren't I? So,
All right.
No.
Speaking of GBL controversy, what's with you and the Japanese? Are you guys like close or something,
Ooh.
okay.
or not?
I've kind of forgotten a bit of that. It was a bit weird. I consider like lots of the Japanese kind of friends. I chat with some of the Japanese players sometimes. I think they are extremely nice. I remember having dinner with Katunari and Wanko in Japan, and that was really enjoyable. But I was just a bit kind of shocked, surprised to hear that they were, like actually coordinating snipes against players high up on the leaderboard, right? Because to me, I always thought, they're good players. They kind of play fairly. Or I thought, and that they were just, nice people, and they were just friendly and happy and everything, and they were just so good that they could always hit number 1. But when it changes, from being so good from hitting number 1, or to be able to consistently hit number 1, to being so good at coordinating snipes and hard countering people, after a friend plays them, it was just a bit much for me at once. I was just a bit surprised. And I've heard that it's not only the Japanese, right? I was only making claims or only saying stuff that I have proof of, right? I don't want to accuse people who I haven't seen or heard anything from or about. But it just happened to be that it was the Japanese I heard stuff from. If it was like the Europeans were sniping people, then I would have made the same claim against Europeans. So it's nothing to do with where they're from. It's just got to do with what I heard. So
Yep. And the principle of, don't snipe.
Yeah, it was kind of just saying, hey, look, this is the awareness you can get if you cheat or do stupid things that are just kind of unsportsmanship like in the game. Then people will call you out. People will tell you to stop and won't accept you in the community as much, right? We always see, or always, we've seen it multiple times with people kind of getting kicked out, kind of removed. I don't know the right way to phrase it, but kind of disregarded, unliked in the community for doing bad things, right? So I was kind of just hoping that the fear of that might be enough to stop people from just doing these kind of things, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Did that
I
affect
was
your?
talking with
Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Did that affect your relationship with them?
No, not at all, really. You know, there were obviously some people who kind of quit GBL a bit. I won't specify
Hmm.
any names, but I did hear from some people, or some, you know, very few people, that they would kind of stop doing GBL or do it a lot more casually and less hardcore and stuff. But yeah, but before I said everything, I was actually talking to like a lot of people. You know, obviously people who were high up on the leaderboard from various different places. I talked to some people from India,
Hmm.
some from the US, some from Europe. You know, so
Yeah.
there were a lot of people who kind of
Yeah.
were
You weren't
yeah
just making claims to, make excuses for your
yeah no
losses.
no
You seem like you really came about this, and it seems like you in general, like you come about things from a very thoughtful manner. You don't want to, be throwing out accusations. That probably comes a little bit from your mom being a lawyer.
yeah maybe, but I I don't I don't know where I was on the leaderboard at the time of making that claim. I think it was like a new season, wasn't it? Oh right, it was the season just ended, didn't it?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
somebody like
I think it was near the very end.
shot up way high above the second place person, and I think that's how it all started. But yeah, the last thing I want is to start a random drama. It's all wrong, and then people are like, "What's this guy saying? Is he really trustworthy?"
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
anything like that,
Yeah. Well, it was relevant enough to be in my timeline for a few days. I'll say that. It
Yeah, but
definitely.
there you go. That's the awareness I wanted, right? Kind of everybody
Wants to be in Martine's
should
timeline. Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. We get it. We get it.
Yeah.
So, on the subject of Go Battle League, but maybe a little bit different, do you think that inside Pokemon Go itself, we will ever have a Show 6 Pick 3 format, or do you think that they're always going to stick with this blind 3?
Given that it's Niantic, yeah, I think you can see where this is going. Uh, I don't think there will be a show six. I would absolutely love it if there was. I think it would really, get people not only into show six, uh, who kind of already played show six, kind of more into it, or I don't know if they're like Battle Frontier people who never really tried Open Great League show six that might get into it. But I think just anybody who plays GBL, it would just be a completely different thing, and I think it would be really, really cool to have something like that. I mean, to be honest, there's so many different things they could do. Like that would be pretty nice. Like just a practice battle thing where you don't have a limit to how many battles you do, and you can just practice against anybody. It doesn't have to be with ELO or with a kind of a matchmaking kind
Mhm.
of rating.
You don't find the Candela practices fulfilling?
Surprisingly, not. No,
No, I won't. I thought about this recently because I've started playing Pokemon Unite, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But once you hit the master ranking, the top ranking, which is like 1,200, once you hit 1,400, you can start competing in a completely different format, but it's in game, and it's not every single battle, but it's a draft. So essentially, the 6 people that you're playing with, you're like banning Pokemon versus the other teams, and it's live going on. It takes a little bit longer, but obviously, like I think if something like that could be implemented for Go, but it's like okay, fine, it's only people who hit veteran or expert above, so people who actually care or are invested, or maybe even just the ones who make it above the 20 wins or whatever. Not 20 win, rank 20, then they could start competing in a show 6 format. And it doesn't have to be every battle, but it's like, oh, what is this? And that could be, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think something like that would be cool. I don't know why really you would kind of like lock it to kind of a certain rating. I can understand that, but imagine, I don't know, it's the start of the season and everybody's ELO resets to 0, right? Then nobody can do it for a while as well, which would be
That's
a bit.
True. That's true. Do you think it would be like an option, like a show 6 or a blind 3, or?
Yeah. No, I think that would be the most ideal thing, right? I know they were like, I'm not sure. I thought that maybe some people were like working on a show 6 kind of thing, unrelated to kind of GBL, but I really don't know very much. But yeah, I just think it would be a lot better if there was an easier way to do show 6 rather than having to go online, because like for me, before I really started the Play Pokemon circuit, I didn't really have Discord, so I was just playing GBL, and I would never have known what show 6 is if there wasn't like some kind of in-game news about EUIC now is soon or something, for example. So I think it would just kind of, lots of people who don't really follow social media or just generally use like kind of any social media platforms, it would just really help them get into it and maybe be more interested, and then look stuff up and then see, oh, look, there are these tournaments you can compete in, and then go to them. And then, yeah, I think it would just be a lot better for the community if there was just some kind of option to do show 6 in the game. Yeah.
Fair. I want to go into the final topic, which is actually the topic we haven't talked about as much, which is obviously the EUIC 2024, right? I want to go a little
But
bit.
first, let's go back to 2023. I don't want to interrupt you, Martijn, but so
Oh, no.
this was always the joke before, when we had our old podcast before the rebrand. Every single episode, we would bring up that Inadequance beat MEweedle in EUIC,
Her idea.
the crowd favorite. No.
Yes.
He was begging me beforehand.
This is not
true. Make sure to mention that I beat the senior world. No, he never said that. But it just became like this sort of running joke. So, how happy were you that Martijn was casting EUIC?
I mean, it depends in what way I'm happy. I think he deserved to cast EUIC in terms of.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of a caster being a good caster, right? And I think he applied to be a caster, and I'm happy for him that he got to be a caster. I think he's one of the. I mean, there's so many good casters, but he's easily one of the best ones.
Take notes.
I know there's still some kind of level of, these are slightly worse casters and these are slightly better casters, but I think they've really been good with their casters recently. But yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing of like, yay, he's not competing, but exactly more as a kind of joking way. He can't beat me again.
They won't talk about it forever.
But I wasn't really happy that I didn't have to face him. I kind of found it a bit sad. Not really sad. It would have been cool to see him competing as well. He can lose, and then I can laugh at him.
That's it.
No, but if he'd won EUIC, that would have been cool as well, right? So, I mean, he wanted to cast, he got it. He's a good caster. I'm happy to have him casting my battles. Yeah, that's a good way to summarize it, I think.
That's fair. All right, now we can proceed.
Yeah,
Martijn.
cool.
Go ahead, ask your questions.
So about EUIC, I think you didn't before EUIC, you didn't have like a great performance for like about a year. How did you go with what kind of mindset into the EUIC?
It was about a month ago that I made the team. So it was like a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I made this team, and it was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I'll do some practice with it. I've only ever lost 2 scrims with it,
Okay.
and I've done, well over like 10 or 15 or something. So like out of all of the 20, 25 battles or matches I've ever done with it, I've only ever lost 2. One was Josh, Sir Corey. He just hard ABA RPS'd me.
Unbelievable. Shame.
Yeah, but the other was to Kazim 33.
Mhm.
You probably, or you might have heard of him.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, he just outplayed me. Yeah, it's sad. It was sad because I think he would have had a good chance of doing well in the UIC. He didn't do badly, right? He got to his. I don't know. I think he got to the losers finals of his group, right?
Yeah.
So he was like just 1 win short of day 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he ever does well in a tournament, it might be a similar situation to David of like, wow, this new person, we haven't really heard of him before, right?
Not on me. Not on me. No. That's not how I described him at all when I casted his battle.
But I think there are a lot of people who do well in GBL and who are good, just haven't had the right luck, for example, or
Their
just had a
breakout moments.
bit unlucky. But yeah, about the previous tournaments, right? I felt quite good going into Liverpool as well. For example, I thought my team there was pretty solid, and it was annoying because the only people I lost to were from Tea and Pizza. So
But again, when you have 200 of you,
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
it's
It was like half the tournament, bro.
that's true. That's true. But I mean, to be fair, it was still quite unlucky to be put in the same group as Nezabethan and Tomahawk, right? Those are the 2 people who ended up beating me. But then, as we saw, or as I saw at least afterwards, I won the cup there, right? Thomas was there. I beat him. Just
Easy.
Gonna add that as well because why not?
Your favorite Dutch player?
No, my favorite Dutch player is neither of you. We've got Stan and Colin. Hello.
Who? Yeah, I love playing them in the locals too. Well, Colin only played once and he threw against me. That's why I won.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. We always go on about how do Stan and Colin keep letting you win all the cups. I don't understand it.
And the fun part is, I sent my team beforehand to Tomahawk. I say, "Is this too spicy?" And he says, "I'll dress up." He said something like, "I'll dress up for," or sorry, no, he said, "Nellis is cancelled if you win with this." That was the Castform team. I won with it. Yeah.
I came into Liverpool with a team I was pretty confident in, and it didn't go well. The team was good. I just had I don't remember all of the battles. I think Nezabethan's Glycopod was pretty good against me, or something stupid like that. Because I had Skeledirge, Cresselia, Azumarill,
Aisler.
I only Whiskash, so I only had like Lickitung as my answer, which so it didn't go too well. Although it's a terrible Pokemon,
I agree.
I can't believe I lost to it, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, I think the other ones, so like Stuttgart was just my fault purely for running a bad team. I was 5 times weak to Charge Bug and Clodsire. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. Well,
But to be fair, Dinosky was also like 5 times weak to Charge a Bug. And he made it to. Not saying that obviously you've.
I think he had a bit more. Right, he had Guzzlord, which is okay, and Clodsire.
Yeah, Clodsire definitely.
Did he also have Licky? I'm not sure.
Don't remember.
I can't remember. I just remember looking at that team and being like, "This team is so soft to Charge a Bug, like with only like Clodsire as an actual hard
That's
answer."
why people ran Charge a Bug at that time, right? Because it was pretty good as a core breaker. My only answer to Charge a Bug was also like Clodsire, right? So Clodsire being so easy to cover, basically all it took was for Charger Bug and Whiskash to be in the same team, and I was like, right, well, I've lost. So that was kind of I think the worst tournament I've been to so far ever. just because I just made the complete wrong meta read. That was also right after a move update again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This last Stuttgart.
Yeah. You want to talk about Lou as well?
Yeah, I was gonna come to it, but I lost to this very weird looking guy again. The one who I beat in Stuttgart 2 years ago. No. Damn, that Shadow Magnezone, right? Yeah. It was a good team for that he made against mine. Or well, it wasn't specifically against mine.
It was exactly for your team.
No. But it was well designed to beat a team like mine, because I was like, my two answers to Magnezone were Medi and Swampert, which are pretty good answers. But then he has like Superior, Pelipper, and it's like, well, can I bring Swampert into a Superior Pelipper team? And Medicham against like Sableye, Pelipper, even against Superior, it's not the best, right? Then I think he might have had like a Medi or something.
I did.
Not sure. Yeah, there you go. I remember just it coming down to him having Dynamic Punch, and of course he had it, but I think it was like the better move at the time. So it's not like he had like a spicy move set to beat me. Right? It was not even open team sheets then yet. So
that's true.
So yeah, I remember running Lickitung with Registeel in the back and thinking, right, if I lead against Medi, then that's good, because Lickitung can do stuff in the twos, and then the Reggie in the back can do pretty well. But he ended up baiting out like my A9 or something. I don't remember the exact game, but basically he swept me with Dynamic Punch Medi in the end. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
But EUIC.
Yeah,
so you put a bunch
of
like not bad runs, but not so stellar runs.
Yeah, I got points from all of the tournaments. It was not bad,
Yeah, but your confidence level going into EUIC was like, I know I'm a good player. I'm basically top of the GBL leaderboard once again. I have this unbeatable team that's only getting wrecked by ABA. I'm gonna win EUIC.
Oh yeah, kind of. That's what I thought until I went into my first match, at least. Anyway, I think that's something that would be interesting to bring up as well. Is I was going to lose my first match, just of the tournament. It was like Altari against Sableye, and he had like a full health Annihilate in the back, and I had a full health A-Slash in the back. And it was basically, I was farming down the Sableye. We both had no shields left. And they were trying to get to the power gem just in time, right? But in the middle of the 8th Shadow Claw, they kind of panicked and used the foul play.
Ooh, and they weren't sure they were going to reach it?
They survived with 1 HP and got to the foul play because they panicked and didn't press the power gem. And that ended up letting me survive the foul play and get off a sky attack and then win. And I just would have lost if they just went for the power gem. They just committed. So it's a bit weird to say the hardest match of the whole tournament was the first one.
I just want to point out that in every good tournament run, there's always some loot throws, even in mine. It basically comes down to who makes the least amount of throws.
Yeah,
you just gotta take them, even though if sometimes they don't feel as like legitimate as just outplaying.
I think Stan said the same thing to me afterwards. Like, yeah, that's why we make it to day 2 and they don't. It's because we just don't make those kind of mistakes. Right?
Yeah. So. No, exactly. That's exactly how it went. Remember Maxi against me in Utrecht? Horrible play, but it happens. He's a great player. Just it comes down to who doesn't make those mistakes. So you should just take that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to, feel iffy about there.
Something else about EUIC, like iffy things, is I just remember Lurgan's like spam me with a bunch of messages about our third game.
Mm-hmm.
It was, but it really got me thinking as well, because it was like I don't know if you remember, but he miscounted on the Cresselia, And then we were both doing like a bunch of calculations, if he had counted properly, would he have won? And it was just all kind of crazy, weird things. But yeah, he would have won if he hadn't miscounted. If he had thrown the Night Slash there, it would have KO'd like exactly. So
because he was going for the charge attack priority, I believe, but you were one psycho cut ahead of what he thought it was.
Yes.
But you guys put in your specific IVs, is what you're saying, to see if it would have been enough to knock out the Cresselia at that point.
Yeah, because he had like a super high attack Annihilate, right? So it gets like a break point against Cresselia and everything. But I didn't even think I was in Night Slash range there when I got that second Grass Knot. But apparently I was. So, there's another thing that if he had just counted correctly, if he had just not, I don't know if he just forgot or didn't see it, or if he just not lost track of the energy, he just would have won there as well. So.
Yeah. But that's another high level player. I mean, like with all the swaps that everyone does, keeping track of the exact energy that things are on. I mean, that can be definitely difficult, especially in the late game. Yep. But he also said it himself. He needed that to knock out because he needed the energy for the Pokemon in the back as well. So it's like on another Cresselia, perhaps it wouldn't have knocked out and stuff too. So I mean, there's still so much up for chance.
Yeah. Yeah, about the swapping out and keeping energy, I don't know if anybody at all saw. It's not that bad if they didn't. I bring like some paper to the tournaments. I know there are these people who like write down like whole like a PV poke matrix and then choose their teams based on that, or like take a bunch of notes during the game. The only thing that I take notes on is when the opponent swaps out with energy, how much did they swap out with, right? Because exactly as you said, it's really, really hard to keep track of energy when they swap out, right? Because you always need to keep it in the back of your mind, and it's really easy to forget. So yeah.
That's really smart. It's like I should have that. Tips from people who are actually taking notes. It's like, what are they writing down half the time?
Yeah. I write a lot less than most people do, so I don't think I wrote down anything until like day 3, because I just never needed to. Yeah. So
speaking of day 3 and iffy situations, you had one more kind of iffy situation, but I really think that wasn't on you. That was just on the game. With the leads, you had a really good lead.
Oh, yeah.
And then the game was the game.
Yeah. I don't know if Dunebug will hear this, but I would just like to thank him because he didn't notice it when it was happening, right? Because it's hard to see with Dragon Breaths, or just generally sometimes with one-turn fast moves, the animations are just a bit wrong. But yeah, I was having like 2-turn Dragon Breaths and everything. We agreed to do same teams, but for obvious reasons, I was scared as hell that he would change his team and start leading Skarmory, and I could not do anything about it because
it's just a gentleman's agreement.
He's technically allowed to change his team between rounds when there's a rematch, right? But he did do the same team, and I'm really grateful for that. It's just nice seeing that. There are good players who don't accept kind of like cheeky ways to cheat the system to take a win, right? So
I think Dunebug has grown so much as a player, a person, and like I think for himself as well. If he was to win, he wanted to win on skill and not on like having to trick his way to get to that point.
I actually talked about him. I talked to him about it. Because I also told him, I think, like he said, yeah, I think it was the right thing to do, which I definitely agree on. Because the thing is, if you don't, and you're like on stream and everyone sees it, you don't get away with that. He has experience already before of how.
Yeah, well, they didn't know that it was going to be same teams.
No, of course, but if you were to lead your Altair into Wishcash and the stream, like everyone who's watching the stream sees that you are lagging, you tell him that, and it's going to be a rematch, an obvious one, because like both of you are top lefting. We see that on the stream. And and then he changes his lead, it would not look very clean towards him, because you had such a good lead that he was in a commanding spot, and it's the freaking grand finals, right?
Yeah.
It would be tough on him. It will be very tough, and he knows, he has experienced something like that before. I don't think he wants to get into a particular situation like that, right? So yeah.
No, I see, but yeah, there are some people. I don't want to say any names, of course,
Call him out.
for very obvious
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah, of course.
But I have heard, people who do exactly that.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary off stream maybe, but on stream, most people rather play it
off stream. I know it happened to somebody that I know on stream as well. Kind of not in the exact same way. It was kind of a similar thing. I don't want to get into the details of it in case anybody like recognizes anything. But yeah, it was not nice, because he was going to win, then he lagged, and then they did this rematch, and they agreed on something. They both stuck to their agreement, but they kind of it was maybe not the best agreement, but it was just a bit silly what happened afterwards. So yeah, it was a bit really annoying for the person that it happened to, obviously, because he was going to win. So
fair.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I think like there's so many things that I say it like almost every episode too, but like Pokemon Go is in its infancy stage. And while I am super thankful for all of the refs and judges and everything, I think everyone's trying their best, right, at this point. But there are no def wins in the game, which sometimes I do think they theoretically should be awarded. Like if something is supposed to win charge attack priority and it doesn't, I mean, it's up to the player themselves to be like, okay, no, you can have the win. But I think in the moment, that's so hard for people to do. I have seen that happen as well, but that's not common. If people get a chance to rematch a game that they were going to lose, 9 times out of 10, I think that they would take that rematch. And, just things like that too. It's like, or maybe not quite knowing a mechanic, or sometimes, I mean, people can watch a stream and say, no, I think that should have been a rematch, but the judges don't think it is. And they definitely have their reasons for it. And the reasons are following the guidelines. So things will continue to change as the game continues to grow.
What I think would be appreciated, or at least by me, and I assume some other players, is whenever there is like a dispute like this on stream, if they were to like afterwards have kind of an exact like judges report on why they gave the rematch, and what happened and what could have happened if it didn't happen, how it changed the game, just anything like that would be really helpful, just so we get kind of an insight on what's going through the judges' heads when they kind of making these decisions, right? So
yep. No, I think that would be good. And like I said, like maybe we'll end up getting things like that in the future.
Yeah,
I know that, I mean, like even
stage,
for people who want to be judges, like they have to take the exam off of the card game. There's no like Go related judging thing yet. So, I mean, surely as Pokemon Go continues to gain some followers and some respect and more players, they will have to start, starting to bend it a little bit more to the Pokemon Go players.
Yeah, I think that's also where like the rematch rules come from, right? Because I think is it in the VGC or something, when there's like an issue, it's just a rematch. And I guess when they kind of made the Pokemon Go rules, they were like, well, what are we gonna do? Let's just take that rule. If there's something wrong with the game, we just do a rematch.
But also I can understand, like, if a judge is relatively new, and I know there's arguments against this as well, but I mean, we can't have tournaments if we don't have judges. I don't know how comfortable some judges would feel making a call for a def win on something that so then that's not fair either. It's like, okay, but then we don't get def wins unless we have this judge or so. I mean,
I think because I don't know if you played Gym Breakers. I know Martine maybe. I don't know if he's doing any now.
I just lost my battle actually.
Yeah, right before that. Ooh, bad timing, Weedle. Bad timing.
It's on myself.
But in Gym Breakers, we're kind of pretty easy when it comes to death wins. We kind of just do it from like quite a simple perspective of, right, if they hadn't lagged, would they have won? Yes or no. But I remember like in Sylph, it needed to be like completely obviously a death win. So like it was my Altaria against your Whiscash and then I lagged out. That's a death win. Or I lost CMP that I should have won. That's a death win. Or like I didn't sneak a move. I got denied and I would have won CMP. Then that's a death win. But like anything else, like if you lost a move early in the game that would have made you end up winning closer to the end, I don't even think you get a death win, because it would have, like, the rest of the game would have played differently or something, or they really only gave death wins when it was just the end of the game.
Yeah, glaringly obviously. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I think if the Play Pokemon did it a bit more like Sylph did it, then there would not be much to complain about, because it's just like a simple, straightforward thing of, right, if it was just super obviously a death win and it was like the final matchup and something bad happened, then they should be able to give it. But I still do see that it's hard to be able to say, right, well, when is it one of those cases and when is it not? Because like in the VGC, you can probably have like quite easy, simple list of scenarios, right? Kind of like the game crashed, or I don't know, it didn't let me click a move. I don't know if that's ever a bug.
Yeah.
But in Pokemon Go, there's so many different small things that can go wrong.
We're playing on half-second turns. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to list when is something, big enough to be able to be a death win or anything really. So
all I'm saying is we got to maintain a positive outlook on it. I am hopeful that things will continue to get cooler as we get more people involved.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, shall we head into our final question?
Yeah, but just before that final question, I do have a question. You beat Martijn at Stuttgart to become the regional champion. He beat you to knock you out of EUIC, a couple other regional competitions. You both are regional champions. You just won EUIC world champion. Who do you think would win in a battle between the two of you?
I love how both me and MEweedle are like, here we go again. I don't know, man. I think he's pretty good, especially after seeing EUIC.
I mean, it's. I always enjoy these questions of who would win, but what teams are we using?
Magnezone.
Just going to use any Magnezone team.
Well, I mean, let's see. Say he's using Paula's team from EUIC, and you use your team from EUIC.
Okay. Well, his Magnezone is pretty bad against my Skeledirge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do I not have like I don't even know remember what Apala probably had a Whiscash, right? I actually do have a team prepared for the next tournament that I play.
Leak it.
I will say one thing: it has Giratina on it. I need Giratina to be in a special research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the only reason you're doing it, so it will.
Yeah.
But it's only going to be in a special research if you win NAIC.
Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't be difficult. Look at the place.
That's your next tournament.
Look at the place it's in, bro. Kidding. Probably won't be easy. But
it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good? Yeah, no, I agree with you. But that's one of my things. So making not good Pokemon work.
Yeah, so Polasha does have Whiscash.
All right.
But that's the only Skeledirge answer.
Right, so I just get it aligned.
Just saying that.
I just get it aligned, easy.
Well, you do have some neutral answers as well, like Altaria or... Yeah, that's it. Altaria and Whiscash.
I once scrimped against her, and she said, "Oh God, no." That didn't go super well for her when I had a Skeledirge on my team.
There you go. So is that an acceptable answer?
Yeah, that's fair. We'll let that slide. And then we'll slide right into our final
Okay,
question,
cool.
which is on a similar subject, but maybe not between you two. So we always end this podcast with the question of who in the community do you think is a crib brawler? And this is someone who is maybe not super well known within PvP, but you think that they're really, really good and probably going to make a name for themselves. I joke around and say David, but we know that. And then who do you think is a champion? This is someone who's probably already qualified for Worlds, and you think probably has a good shot of winning Worlds
Or NAIC.
or NAIs. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And you can say yourself, but you've been
Yeah.
pretty humble so far.
I think somebody that should be considered as a crab brawler. I don't know how serious they kind of playing the game or how into it they're getting, but Colin's brother, I know, has done some tournaments, has been doing pretty well. I think I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the future, he could really make a name for himself and compete, with Colin. That would be cool. Have a Colin brother
There will be two of them.
grand finals, right? Yeah, you see another Dutch man that's better than Martijn. He's happy. Someone who is like a champion. I really want to say Wadaj, but he's not in the game anymore. It's so sad.
He told me he was going to play. In London, he told me he was going to play Worlds. Yeah.
At Worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then that's my answer, Wadaj, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen him play for a while. I really hope he gets back into it.
Yeah.
Well, just like tired people, they always come back after a while.
Apparently, like, washed up players can do really well. Look at Sanadu. I mean, yeah, it's funny though. Like, one of the players that has been out of it for a while plays the tournament again, gets top 3. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, but he's been playing quite a few this season, and he's always like done relatively decent. At least this, I mean, because what did he play in Utrecht? Yeah, he played and he got day 2.
Yeah,
didn't he? Because he lost to EJ, I think. Also because he miscounted.
Oh yeah, it happens. Yeah, no, he had a fantastic run though.
Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you so much for being on. Thanks for making time right after your big run.
It's okay.
Are you competing in any others this season? Are we keeping our eye out for you, or just seeing you at Worlds?
No, I'm definitely not coming to NAIC. I can tell you.
Oh, the Americans are.
We need to get out of Europeans.
Yeah, okay. If you pay for everything,
what, you got a travel award and then well, you don't have a travel award maybe just yet, but you definitely have the prize money.
Yeah. I don't have time. I'm not around then. So we're still seeing about potential Stockholm or Bologna.
Okay.
We have we had Stockholm booked, but we don't need to go anymore. Yeah, well, it costs a lot, and is it?
Yeah, that's fair.
Is it worth it? I would obviously like to go.
Are you competing so you're not competing for the travel award then?
I am, but I'm probably going to compete for it by just doing 2 more cups. I've still got 2 more cups left.
Okay.
To gain points. I've got points from 4 of them already, and that would take me to just under 1,000 points, which I am hoping. Well, assuming I win both of them, and I hope that that's enough for the travel awards. 980 points. Well, I guess we'll see. Mm-hmm. As long as you doesn't like top 8 to NAIC.
I don't know anyone going there that's has that capability. So.
No, I think Martijn, if he does well at NAIC, which I can imagine, he will probably get the travel award then. But I don't think too many people are going to NAIC, which works out well for me. Mm-hmm. Still waiting for the leaderboard to update. I know it will take a while, right? It takes a long time to gather all the data. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm hoping 2 cups are enough. I'm hoping I can maybe go to Bologna or Stockholm, but we'll see. Just depends on what my family wants to do.
That's
a nice little vacation to Italy.
Yeah.
Well, you say vacation, but we're just going to be like there for the weekend and then go back immediately afterwards. I don't have time for everything.
I know the feeling.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of your family, tell your mom hi for me.
And for me.
And
Of course.
and yeah, for next we'll be back next week for the next episode of Tap Tap Cast on Thursdays. Bye everyone.
Bye.